Fuck me. Alright. It was a wonderful sunny day deep in the heart of Texas, and a familiar man in a white Texan fedora sat in his office, sorting out paperwork for the day. Dr. Boris G., the commissioner of the 4chan Cup, had a lighter payload of work to do during the Christmas break, but the winter teams were already out training at the local fields to keep warm and build up their skill for the upcoming Elite Cup. As he sorted out the last of the paperwork for today, Boris kicked back and put up his legs. He leaned back on his chair and closed his eyes. Alright, got the rest of the day to myself, he lazily noted. His rest was broken when he heard a knock on his door. He sighed impatiently as he remembered that there were miscellaneous matters to attend to. Usually these were appointments made by players or staff, but Boris didn't have any for the day. "Come in," he called out. The door opened, revealing the likes of VetFX, senior promotional designer for the 4chan community. "Boris, one of the players is here to see you," he said matter-of-factly. "Yeah, you should know about the appointment scheduling thing, right?" Boris groaned. "Yes, but it's also a she. And according to the papers, you ain't got an appointment for the entire day." Boris rolled his eyes. "Might as well make it quick. Send her in, Ved," he huffed. Still parched from the match day. Ved nodded and said something inaudible to somebody outside. Boris sat straight up and twisted his back, revealing his discomfort. Ved gestured for somebody to enter the office. In walked a woman in her early 20s, literally being a full-kit wanker. Boris knew by the kit and the captain's armband on her left arm who he would be speaking to. The woman sat down and on the cracked leather chair in front of Boris's desk. "Hey, Ved, before you go," Boris added hastily, "change the board so it says I'm not in, so I don't get any more unscheduled appointments." "Gotcha. If you need me, I'll be in the main office pleasuring myself," Ved remarked, closing the door behind him. Boris groaned, his voice cracking his throat. He turned his attention to the woman in the chair, the newly named captain of the S4S squad, gently kicking her legs up and down, bouncing in her seat. "Alright, Keksandra, what can I help you with?" The woman fiddled with her jersey, looking down, mumbling something inaudible. "I didn't catch that." "I want to win the cup!" she blurted out. Boris leaned back in his chair and exhaled. "Keksandra, I've been over this with you. The only way you can win the cup is if you get good," he explained to her. She wasn't deterred by Boris's optimism. "But we already got good! We're always losing in the quarterfinals to meme teams!" she whined. "I'm the captain of the best meme team!" "Yeah, well, whining isn't gonna help win S4S a cup now, will it?" Boris countered. He knew firsthand how difficult it was to deal with Keksandra and her constant bitching and moaning. However, Boris's last remark seemed to put her in her place. "I guess not," Boris huffed. Keksandra grumbled. Grumbled. Boris huffed. "Are we done?" he inquired. Keksandra paused and rubbed her shoulder. "No," she murmured. "What now?" Boris groaned, growing more and more impatient by the second. "I've really got no time for games, Keksandra. Make it quick." "Can't you rig the cup for us?" she asked. Resting his elbow on his desk, Boris put his forehead in his hands and let out an exasperated sigh. "For the last time, Keksandra, there is no such thing as us rigging the cup," he answered. "Is this about MLP?" "Yeah, they're all saying you made MLP win," Keksandra complained. "Can't confirm." And that they were changing the formation and stuff for each game, and you were giving them all the tactics to them and stuff. It dawned on Boris that sooner or later there would be a vendetta against the 4chan committee, demanding an investigation into the practices within the organization. He knew that the committee couldn't keep up with the good guy act. What Keksandra said was true, but not how she explained it. Plain and simple, the committee was actively rigging MLP to win, and it took them all until the 2015 Summer Cup to perfect the method they used. Nowadays, with such a perfect method, what was the point of using it again? If they fell back on old methods, MLP wouldn't win any more cups. If they continued to use the perfect method on MLP, everyone would success finding videos, and the whole thing would be exposed. The horsefucker conspiracy already existed, encompassing half the managers and the entire committee. What was the point in risking it? Boris couldn't concede and let the cup be fair. That would be suicide for MLP. But a smug smile crept over his face as an idea formed in his head. An idea so clever that everybody would still get mad. Nobody would suspect anything about favoring MLP. Why not let the MLP proxies win the cups? Boris pondered. Nobody will ever know. Mr. Dum-Dum! Boris shook his head, returning reality. What? Sorry? Boris stuttered. Why so sleepy, Dum-Dum? Keksandra asked. You know, Keksandra, you should stay a while. I have plenty of time to go over all your concern. Boris smiled, getting up from behind his desk and walking to the door. I just wanted to win the cup, though, Keksandra said. Boris locked the door and walked to Keksandra's chair. Hey, everybody gets a chance to win the cup, Boris assured her. I mean, if you put in all the hard work and pray for our own Jesus every day, and you know. He stood next to Keksandra with a sly half-smile on his face. You know what? Get it active with the commissioner just this one time. Keksandra's eyes wide. What do you mean? She asked. What I mean is, take your kid off. But just do it! The motivation in Boris's voice convinced Keksandra to do what she was told. She stood up in the middle of the room and slipped off the captain's armband off her arm. For some reason, she paused. No, keep going. Take it all off, Boris commanded. I don't feel comfortable doing this, Mr. Dr. Boris, Keksandra croaked. A stern look from Boris was all she needed to keep stripping. Off came her yellow and white jersey, soon dumped in a heap on the floor. She untied the laces on her football boots, pulled her aching feet out of them. Seeing Boris watch her like a hawk, she peeled the socks off her legs. As she slipped her white shorts off, she grew more uncomfortable at being forced to stand in front of Boris, wearing just her sports bra and spandex shorts. Not bad, Boris commented, observing Keksandra's figures. No muscles or anything, but she did keep a pretty athletic, curvy figure. What's not bad? Keksandra nervously mumbled. Boris approached her, taking off his leather jacket as he walked. He tossed the jacket aside and hugged Keksandra from the back, his hands firmly grasping her stomach. Boris inhaled the scent from the woman's hair, ripe and fruity with certain Turkish delights. Smells like somebody uses an obsession for memes. Boris smiled Boris. Keksandra squirmed gently, but didn't want to make any sudden moves, lest she accidentally hurt him. She felt one of his strong hands tracing up her body, slowly, until he gently groped her breast through her sports bra. Boris kicked off his work boots and tossed his rigor aside. You just calm down and let the doctor do his business, Keksandra, he sultry cooed in her ear. Unbuttoning and unzipping his jeans with his free hands, I'm gonna prescribe you a dose that you'll thank me for years, Boris continued, shimmying out of his jeans and kicking them away. What do you say to that? Thanks, Doc, Keksandra muttered. That's right, he whispered, his tongue slowly gliding up Keksandra's ear. She bit her lip and whined. Whatever this dose was, it was supposed to help her win the cup. Boris let go of Keksandra and took off his shirt and flung it aside, leaving the two in their undergarments. Okay, now take them off, Boris ordered Keksandra. I don't wanna. You want this dose? Keksandra nodded and grabbed the bottom of her bra. She lifted it up, freeing her breasts from the confines of the lycra. The pair jiggled and bounced ever so slightly as Keksandra finally freed her head from the hole. She dropped the bra on the floor and pulled her spandex shorts down, revealing her tidy-looking pussy tucked between her legs. Nice! Boris marveled, his stoic expression telling all. He quickly slipped his underpants off off his body, revealing his half-erect cock and primed Texan man push. Keksandra saw Boris's cock and blushed furiously. Alright, on your knees and lube me up, Boris demanded, motioning to his bedness. What do you mean? Keksandra asked, getting on her knees. Virgins, Boris muttered before pointing to his cock. Put that in your mouth and make it wet. Keksandra gulped and held the growing dick in her thumb and forefinger. Truth be told, this counted as her first time. The throbbing mass in her fingers begged for warmth, to penetrate, and to blow. Keksandra gulped again and pressed the glands of the Venus onto her tongue. Boris inhaled sharply, grimacing euphorically as Keksandra inched his dick into her hot, humid mouth. He let out a labored moan and gently grabbed a handful of her hair. Keksandra reacted uncomfortably, mouth full of cock, so Boris let her go. The woman's tongue gingerly licked the shaft, tasting the slightly salty flavor on the skin. Slowly but surely she gave Boris's member as good a licking as she could muster. She'd managed to dredge up spit from the far corners of her mouth, ensuring a good wetness. A little bit of Boris's pre dripped out of the tip, mixing in with the spit that would wind up coating his penis. Alright, I lost my place. Alright. The elegance of Keksandra's tongue nearly drove Boris mad. He almost just wanted to blow his load straight into her mouth right there and then, but he knew he had another hole to penetrate. He pulled back, taking his slimy dick out of Keksandra's mouth. Alright. I think that's pretty good, Boris grunted, gulping. Get on your hands and knees and turn around. Keksandra, still with the taste of cock in her mouth, did as Boris said. It gave Boris the first full glimpse of Keksandra's untouched holes. While he would have chosen her pussy any other day of the week, the rigging method had to be executed perfectly. A daily dose of this level was not child's play. Boris's hands clutched Keksandra's chubby bottom and opened from the crack up. He moved forward, inching his tip towards his destination. Keksandra bit her lip and closed her eyes, knowingly preparing for the dose. The tip of Boris's dick pressed up against her wrinkled hole. This, Boris declared, is how I made MLP win summer, you know. He forcefully pressed the cock into Keksandra's asshole. Lubricated with the woman's spit, the cock slowly squeezed deep into her. Keksandra gasped and breathed sharply, a hint of pain on her face. Boris felt his cock being smothered by the woman's ridiculously hot inside. Her anus tightened as a reaction to his movement, squeezing his shaft. He kept pulling his member inside until he could feel Keksandra's soft bottom pressing on his pelvis. You alright, he asked? Mm-hmm. Boris didn't ask anything else. He slowly pulled back, bringing all but the tip of his penis out of Keksandra. With a little bit of extra speed, he pushed it back into her, then pulled it out a little far. Judging by the moans, Boris knew that she was enjoying the dose. His pace quickened until the shellapping of his dick filled the room, accompanied with Keksandra's high-pitched, pleasurable squeals. Boris may have looked like he was fucking Keksandra all out, but he was following the exact dose method. One wrong move and the dose would have to start over. Thankfully, frequent sex with horses and men helped fine-tune his skills. Shit. Keksandra's tongue flopped out of her mouth. Her breathing was labored, her squeals were wild. She thought that the dose would hurt, but she was pleasantly surprised. And she was being surprised pleasantly. I want it faster, she squealed. Can't, gotta love the dose method, Boris said matter-of-factly. Though he desired to grind his cock through all of Keksandra's holes, he had a job to do. He continued to pound away at Keksandra's ass, feeling the resistance of her inside. With every solid thrust, the thick, warm inside massaged his penis in all directions. Eagerly trying to milk him dry, Keksandra could feel Boris thrusting into a sensitive spot, forcing her leg to jerk around. Yeah! Keksandra squealed as she peeked, squirting clear, warm fluids all over Boris's legs. It took the rigger by surprise, but not enough to break his concentration. The thick, shameful smell of sweat and sex increased with every passing second. Sweat dripped from their naked bodies. Boris from his hard work, Keksandra from pleasure. He recalled how loose Best Pony was before the summer cup. This one was a hell of a lot tighter. Even though she was loosened up, she was smothering his cock as if she wanted to choke it to death. His throbbing mass prepared to finish the dose. The rising heat in the shaft told him that the time was now. His grunts grew louder and louder. Keksandra's cheeks burned a solid crimson. Almost! Boris wheezed, the slapping of his hips on Keksandra's ass rapidly increasing. He felt his cock swelling, throbbing with liquid pride. Just a little. With a final powerful slam, Boris hilted Keksandra. He let out a mighty Texan yeehaw as his thick white dosage pumped into Keksandra in spurts. He rode the orgasm all the way through every single spurt. Keksandra's ear-splitting screams of joy could have practically alerted the entire block as she felt the tirade of Boris's goodness spilling into her. Keksandra's asshole squeezed and smothered Boris's still coming cock, milking him for all his testicles could hold. The sticky waves of semen in Keksandra continued to increase until Boris was utterly sucked dry of cum. Boris pulled out of Keksandra, leaving his half-flaccid, glistening cock flopping uselessly between his legs. Keksandra tightened up, keeping Boris's payload sealed within her. "Thanks, Doc," she wheezed, slowly standing up and gasping for air. A little trickle of Boris's cum dribbled down her leg. She wiped the drop up onto her finger. "Alright, I think we're done here," Boris panted, noticing Keksandra's finger. "Go ahead." Keksandra licked her finger and grimaced. "Yucky! This dose is salty, like 4-ccg. She groaned, and the two slowly dressed themselves back up. After a few minutes, both Boris and Keksandra were dressed in their clothes again, albeit somewhat disheveled and reeking of shame. "Am I gonna win the cup now?" Keksandra asked. "Yep, and the dose should be perfect," Boris responded. "Now you have to promise me something." "What?" "Now that you're a part of the horse farker and rigging conspiracies, you cannot say anything about what you experienced here today," Boris demanded. "You got that?" Keksandra fiddled with her jersey and she gulped. "Mm-hmm," she nodded. "Alright, have a nice day," Boris said as he unlocked the door. He opened it and allowed Keksandra to leave. Alright. Okay. And as promised, I have part 2 open. I need another glass of water. Oh, fuck. Alright. Let me get a refill, lads. Fuck. Oh, you want a link to part 2? Sure. There you go. There's part 2. I should probably get a smoke too. Might be my last chance. I'll crack up like a motherfucker, but who cares? It's all for fun, right? I mean, who gives a shit? Oh, where's the lighter? There it is. Almost lost my lighter. I'd do part 2 next week, but this is my best chance to do it. Plus 4 CCG did get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 get on VG, so hey, they earned it. So to continue on, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Dark Boris has repented, and Fit are your 2016 4chan Winter Cup champions with a thrilling 4-3 victory. Everybody activate those almonds, do some squats, and stretch those glutes because you finally made it, bras. The cup and the star are all yours. Oh, commiserations to you. You fought so hard and broke that quarterfinal first, but you just fell short of the prize. Boris unlocked the door to his house and went inside. As he closed the door and flicked the light on, he took off his rigdora and leather jacket, hung them up onto the hooks in the wall. He dragged his body to the couch and flopped over it, exhausted from 3 intense weeks of the cup. He cracked a small smile at the fact that he could take a well-deserved break until the Summer Cup started, since So and his friends would help run the fetus in the Baby Cups. His smile faded as he remembered what was supposed to happen. How come the dose didn't work, Boris thought. Worried, he got up off the couch and walked to the kitchen, opening the fridge, finding a new unopened bottle of Jack Daniels in one of the shelves. Might as well, he grumbled. Grabbing the bottle, he didn't bother getting a glass. He was content swilling the bottle and letting his worries go away. Boris sat down on his couch, forcefully opened the bottle, and took a swig of the liquor. The rigger was so used to whiskey that he didn't even notice the alcohol, just the taste of caramel and molasses. He paused and swallowed his mouthful, then on the coffee table in front of him. Just as he did, he heard a knock at the door. He got up, feeling a little dizzy. He walked slowly to his door. "Who is it?" he asked, resting his head on the door. "It's me, Boris." Boris heard the voice of a female outside. Despite being buzzed, he still had enough brain power to comprehend why a woman would be at his house this late. "Hang on. I'ma just unlock the door here," Boris said, fiddling with the latch. He got it undone, somehow, and opened the door. He gulped at who he saw. Standing in her usual outfit, slightly downcast, with her hands behind her back, was Keksandra. "Hey, Keksandra. What's up?" Boris greeted, hoping that the woman wasn't here for what she thought she was for. For what he thought she was there for. Fuck it. The woman looked past Boris, noticing the darkness inside his home. Maybe I should come back tomorrow. You must be really sleepy," Keksandra explained. Boris paused and shook his head. No, I'm all good. Come inside," he said, showing her in. As he watched her walk inside, Boris followed and flicked the light on at his lounge. Keksandra sat on Boris's sofa, noticing the bottle of Jack Daniels on his coffee table. "Is that alcohol?" Keksandra asked. "Yup," Boris hiccuped. "You want some?" "I guess," she said, picking up the bottle without knowing how high the proof was in it, or what proof was. She drank some of the alcohol, as if some of it was soda. The taste got to her instantly. Keksandra almost spat it out, but she held it in her hand, over her mouth, and kept it in. "Pretty strong stuff. Should be careful," Boris said as Keksandra placed the whiskey bottle down on the table. Keksandra nodded and, with great difficulty, swallowed the mouthful. She coughed and stuck out her tongue. "Yuck, it burns," she wheezed. "I should have warned you first," Boris said. "No, it's okay," Keksandra replied, gulping some spit to rid her mouth of the strong taste. "I never had any alcohol before." Boris slumped back into the sofa inside. "I think I know why you're here," he muttered, anxiously awaiting Keksandra's reply. Keksandra looked down and crossed her legs and held her hands together. "Why didn't it work? You said I was going to win the cup this time. We lost in the quarterfinals. Again!" she asked. A rigger hiccuped and rubbed his temple. "I've been wondering that since I got here. I thought the dose was perfect," Boris groaned. "You said that's how MLP won summer," Keksandra said. "Why didn't it work for me? I thought I was going to make the take memes greater again." She leaned forward and grabbed the Jack Daniels bottle, looking at the liquid inside. "Well, we'd been working on making that dose perfect for years," Boris explained. "We thought when they won summer, we'd gotten it right. Then I realized it was a bad idea to keep using it on MLP." He watched Keksandra raise the bottle to her lips and take a quick sip of whiskey. "Oh, you didn't like it?" Keksandra swallowed the whiskey and coughed a few times. "I kinda like the taste. There's something nice in it." But it still burns. She offered the bottle to Boris. Boris nodded and took the bottle, swirling the whiskey inside of it. Mix it with some Pepsi. It won't burn so much, Boris suggested, taking a swell from the bottle. Keksandra took the bottle back, rested the bottom of it in her lap. I thought MLP won a cup a few years ago. Did you give them a dose? She asked. Yep, we did. That was a babby cup, Boris said. There was some shit with Dragon Gate, and some of them wanted MLP's trophy removed because Dragonfag was one of their testers. Didn't want all that effort going to waste. So we kept it. So we let them keep it. Well, taking another, more larger swig from the bottle, Keksandra dragged her finger down through her hair and burped. Whoopsie, she giggled. Whoa, I feel a bit funny. That's the whiskey kicking in, Boris mumbled, hiccuping again. What about when MLP got relegated? Keksandra asked. Wasn't there some weird thing where all the good team sucks? Worst damn cup ever. Am I right? Boris asked. It was not a nice cup. Nobody was scoring except me, because I was so good, Keksandra replied. Wasn't it funny when they said she'll get it, and then I really did? Boris chuckled slightly. Yeah, Paul, wasn't it? Good match, he said. Anyway, yeah, that cup was terrible. We were experimenting with improving the dose, and I assumed we fucked it up, so we used whatever we did in winter to get MLP back up while all the others continued being shit. But not me. We stayed up because we're awesome, Keksandra said, sipping from the bottle again. You might want to slow down on it a bit, Boris recommended. Keksandra covered her mouth and burped. Sorry, this stuff's ebbing, she apologized, placing the bottle on the coffee table. Half of the bottle of alcohol still remained. Anyway, I'm kind of thinking that our whole dose thing is meaningless, Boris explained. Starting to think MLP are just being lucky shitters. Keksandra kicked her legs up and down and placed her hands on the sofa. Oh, she simply replied. I guess I should apologize then, Boris said glumly. I hope you're not upset. Boris expected some sort of acceptance, but he was surprised to hear laughter coming from Keksandra. He looked over at her. She had the bottle in her hand again, and she'd taken another drink. Or two. Don't be such a silly dum-dum, you dum-dum. Keksandra giggled. You want to say sorry because you fucked me? You're so funny. No, not because of that. Because you were Fuck, what's the word? Boris replied, his boozed-up mind struggling to think of the right word. Keksandra downed another mouthful of whiskey and hiccuped a few times. Ah, I get you. That's okay and all, she replied, offering the bottle to him. You want? You should probably stop drinking, Boris said to her, noticing that the alcohol was making her a bit louder than usual. He took the bottle from her and quickly swallowed more of the whiskey, which was now a third full. Do you want to play a game or something? Keksandra offered. Oh, I know, let's play alcohol pong. Boris felt the heavy load of worry lift off his chest, replaced by warmth and confidence. He passed the bottle to Keksandra. Oh, we're already drunk, he said. Oh, let's get drunker then, dummy. Keksandra laughed, draining another mouthful of whiskey. Whew, this stuff's awesome! Hey, there's the Keksandra we all love, Boris cheered, stumbling to the kitchen to grab some plastic beer cups. At both ends of the table were 6 red cups, half filled with diluted Jack Daniels and a bunch of ping-pong balls.
Playing pong with watered-down alcohol is a sin. Fuck this.
Boris and Keksandra stood at the end of each table, feeling a bit dizzy and having some difficulty trying to stay standing. Alright, I'm gonna go first. Watch this, Boris said, hurling his first ping-pong ball. To his disappointment, it bounced off the rim of one of the cups, and at the back of the setup, and dropped to the floor. Hey, you missed. My turn, Keksandra laughed. She focused on her throw, despite somewhat out of focus vision, making it difficult to stay still. Keksandra tossed the ping-pong ball and watched as it landed in the middle cup. Damn, good shot, Boris said, picking up the cup and swilling its contents. He scrunched the cup in his hand and ping-pong ball still trapped in, and tossed it on the floor. How pissed do you think we're gonna get? He asked. I don't know, but this is fun.
Implying fun,
the woman replied. Like memes, but they look funny and stuff. She watched as a ping-pong ball landed in the front cup. Ah, shoot, time to drinky. Keksandra grabbed the cup and downed it in seconds. before throwing it away. She took another ping-pong ball. Despite a larger impairment in her vision, she nailed another perfect shot into one of Boris's cups. Boris drank it, and the game continued. Soon, one cup remained on either side, but the ridiculous difficulty in nailing a ping-pong ball into the final cup was reaching impossible levels. Keksandra held her ping-pong ball, tried to focus on one of the 3 cups in her vision, providing her own commentary on the events. Here's Keksandra, she's a professional, and I'm gonna win the game, she said. Ah, you ain't gonna make it laugh, Boris laughed. The woman threw the ping pong ball very weakly and much too high. The ball bounced in the middle of the table and launched closer to the cup. On the 7th bounce, the ball jumped up and landed on the rim of Boris's last cup, then dropped into it. Boris looked into the cup and saw that indeed the ball was floating into the whiskey. Not frickin', he slurred for breaking out the laughter. Does that count? Keksandra joined in the laugh. I don't know. I think I won. She coughed. Oh yeah, you won! Boris cheered, lifting the final cup to his face, lifting his mouth completely, spilling whiskey all over his face, all over his shirt. Shit, damn. Clumsy, dumsy, wumsy. Keksandra laughed. Ah, shit, I gotta take off this damn shirt now. Boris said he lifted his shirt over his head, but found it hard to actually get out of it because of how tipsy he was. Keksandra stumbled over and pulled the shirt off of him, exposing his chest and stuff. Oh, you got hair all over it. Keksandra said, yep, I like that, huh? Boris said, all this makes you want me. Am I right? Keksandra's eyes narrowed as she stared at Boris's hairy chest. She started to giggle, and then she laughed. Yeah! She agreed. How about I show you my chest, too? So, let's see what you got, Boris slurred. Oh my gosh, I have this ebon idea, Keksandra said, lifting the hem of her dress to her waist. How about this? We go to your room. Boris felt as if somebody was driving a spike through his head. Fuck my head, he groaned, rolling over to check his alarm clock. It's 12:48. It read. Never, ever again, he said. He became aware of a lack of clothes on his body, including the lack of underwear. He looked on the floor among the pile of clothes that were his. He saw a purple dress, a top hat, some black flats. Ugh, fuck, my head's hurty. Boris heard someone moaning beside him. He looked to his right. There he saw a woman, also naked. He could recall playing beer pong with her the previous night.
But it was whiskey. Continuity.
Keksandra, what happened? Boris explained, covering up his chest. Ow, don't be loud. Keksandra groaned, sitting up. She didn't bother to cover his... What did we do? Boris asked, feeling a little panicked. Keksandra looked to the distance, trying to remember some of the events from before. I came here because of the dose thing. Yeah, all that I remember. But what about after the beer pong? He asked her. We were all drunky, and then I said we should fuck, and you were like, hell yeah, let's do it. Stuff. She explained, doing her best Texan accent to impersonate Boris. And then we fucked in the bed, and you were really excited and liked it. Boris fell back and stared at the ceiling. God, he said. What kind of sex? And rolled her shoulder. It was like you said, suck my penis. So I did. And when you put the salty stuff in my mouth and you fucked my vagina, then my butt, and I got the salty stuff there too. And then we fell asleep. Fuck, did you say I put cum in your... No, not there, just my butt. You said you couldn't get none of my stuff out and went into my butt, and you did it there. Keksandra clarified hastily. Boris closed his eyes and put his hand on his face. Oh, God, I'm sorry, he groaned. Keksandra cocked her head. Why are you apologizing? It was fun. Felt really good, she asked. Boris sat up again. Remember how Keksandra had the same logic in mind when he apologized for her being misled about the dose. Sorry, drunken sex can be bad sometimes. I was hoping I didn't hurt you. He said, it's okay. I liked it a lot. The rigger placed a hand on her shoulder. You still forgive me for the whole dose thing, right? He asked. Yeah, I do. It's still evident that my team is good, Keksandra said, smiling cheerily. You're right about working hard, because that's what you fit one, right? Guess you're right, Boris agreed, nodding. So you want to go out and enjoy the spring break? Keksandra smiled and hugged Boris, who hugged her back. Yeah, I'm gonna make a lot of M&Bs and then we'll win summer, she said. Boris felt his benness growing under the sheets as Keksandra's breast squished up onto his chest. He pushed back and smiled. Hey, I'm thinking, he said. Huh? You want to have one more round? Just for kicks? Boris offered. I've got a condom if you want little Boris to go exploring your cave again. The woman blushed at the offer and began to giggle. You're funny. Okay, Mr. Okay. Let's have more fun, she agreed, watching Boris reach into his bedside drawer and pull out a foil package. Peeling it open, he reached into the metal package and pulled out the condom, slipping it snugly over his penis. He climbed onto Keksandra and smiled. Alright, get ready for your dose, he chuckled. Thanks, Doc! The end. Oh man.